Welcome, Elly
Morning.
Molina, to the show. Hey, Elly, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome. Hi, my favorite dream team.
Yay! Mutual Admiration Society.
Happy to see you again. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we couldn't wait and talk about everything.
I am up to something that I call really big, and so thanks for having me. And I've been viewing ever since you introduced it to me, and so it's been wonderful. And then I asked myself also, how did you not know about this? And then I said, well, do you remember the old consulting question, the old consulting teaching? Is the quality of the questions you ask yourself is the quality of your life. So then I said, well, that's not such a great question to ask myself. Why didn't I know about it? Because I didn't. All right, now I do. Now I'll use it. And then following your own advice, right back at you, we always have to trust ourselves,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Exactly,
sure, for sure.
exactly.
Yeah. So how has it been? You've been hewing for what, like I'd say 6 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, close. Yeah, I started October 1st, to tell you the truth, exactly on October 1st. And that was the first time that I started Ewing. And then I took that to my community on the Facebook page. And as you know, because you were there, so they were Ewing. And then we had our call and people spoke about their testimonials. And
Yeah. You had some amazing experiences. Hey, why don't we tell the audience before we dive into the hue and the benefits for you, all about you? Why don't you give us a bio? Yeah, so people can find you, you know? Yeah.
well, I am searchable. I will come up on a Google search and it's just my name, ellymolina.com. And I don't even know where to start. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with the present.
Yes, great. Great, great.
So currently what I do during the day is I am intuitive and a psychic. So people come to me for readings and consultations. And then I'm also a consultant, a concierge consultant. And my clientele is really everybody and anybody who wants to make a difference. Currently, for themselves, of course, for their lives, and of course for the planet. So my goal is to work with people who are up to something big. And I work with I call them planetarians. So whether these are people in show business or people in the industry, any business, it's something that is just greater than amassing their own income, their own wanting to be famous. They want to do something that is a contribution to society and to the planet. And so we work together and I am their concierge consultant. That's what I do during the day. And it is highly, highly, highly rewarding to receive the emails and the text messages from the clients saying, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And bringing the work that I teach into the collective, even if it's at a very small level right now, it will still be out there. The ripple effect goes. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm also transitioning I'm transitioning more into not I'm transitioning more away from the astrological and that form of spirituality and bringing it into more of a creative, self-creative realm of spirituality where we know that this has been taught before by the masters and the ancients, nothing new here, that we are the creators of our reality. And so what I have done over the past decade plus is really dive into ontology. Who are we being? And psychology and neuroscience and neurolinguistic programming and of course linguistics. So I've taken all of that work, combined it and now created a program that my clients use. And that's the book that I'm writing. And I called it PSI, not Ron Hubbard, PSI ontology. So who we are being at any moment in time gives us access to the psychic realm, to the unknown, to the unseen. We know that we have way more than 5 senses, way more than 6 senses. We know all about this. We know that we can perceive other realities. We know this. And yet, whenever we have these experiences, we still revert back to the language of, oh, something so weird to me happened. Oh, something so strange. And yet we know that none of this is strange. So I've taken all of this, created a new model of a world view. It's a new model of a worldview. It's very specific that breaks the old model. So backtrack. We got dropped into historically from the time that we were put on this planet. We were dropped into a worldview that there's something wrong. We're dropped into a worldview of fear, scarcity, and survival. That is our worldview. And that I do this image. This is the fish tank, and we swim around in the fish tank. And yeah, you could put new items into the fish tank so the fish thinks it's got something new to swim around. However, it is still stuck in that fish tank. And it is the way that we think as a collective, and it is the way that we use language historically back from cave person that defines the way that we think, obviously, and then the results that we get. So what I have learned over the decades and used and tried this with my clients, used and performed this, is to crack that fish bowl and have the fish jump into the ocean and have the fish jump into the miraculous. So what happens for the clients is that they'll declare, okay, I want to impact boom, 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 boom people, or I want my business, I want my stuff to be taught at Harvard. I want to produce work that is affecting thousands and thousands of people. All right, you got a plan? Now we put it into action. And so we start generating miracles through who we are being, the language that we're using, and the worldview that is very specific to creating a new earth. We use that. And so that's what I'm up to. That's what my message is going to be about. So it's breaking the fish tank and creating a new worldview that creates heaven on earth for us in the new earth. And this is not empty jargon. This can be done.
Wow. Wonderful. This is like manifesting on steroids, you know?
It is. It is. It is. It is. And once you learn it, it's just, again, it's like HUing. You have to remember to use it. So I could write pages and pages and pages of this information, and that's great and dandy. And if we don't use it, then it has no effect. Then we're right back to swimming in the fish tank with new, and I can give you a very specific example for people because I wish everyone would use this. And then they would find themselves so free. And that is to get rid of the word should. Now, you may have read this in so many books all over the place. Stop shoulding yourself and stop using should. Only when we do actually remove the word should from our vocabulary, it impacts us physically. So what does the word should mean? It is authority. It is obligation. It is a make wrong. It makes you wrong. Because what are you really saying? If I say, you should have bet yesterday and not today. Well, I just made you wrong and I just invalidated you. And then take that and then go use it as a teacher, use it to your kids. And just the way your friends talking to well, you should have done that. You should have known that. You should have this, you should have that. So what happens to the person receiving that? You become the judger. The other person feels judged. The response you're going to get from the other person is not going to be super happy in most cases, of course, unless they're very compliant, which is, oh yeah, you're right. And then they're invalidating themselves. And then when they should on themselves, oh, I should have done this yesterday. I should have done, well, they're making themselves wrong all day long. And where's the power in that? Where is empowerment? So my clients are taught to remove the word should from their vocabulary because it removes expectation also. Oh, it should have gone that way. Well, guess what? It didn't. Now deal with it. Okay. So that word in and of itself opens up gates, doorways, portals, just that one word. So can you imagine? There are many more in our vocabulary. Can you imagine if we remove certain vocabulary words, what freedom happens for our brains? What freedom is there for creativity, for creating the miraculous, for stepping into the miraculous, for believing that the miraculous can happen for us at any moment in time?
No
I like
doubt.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Woo. Give us some truth, girl.
Yeah.
All right, you want another one? You want another one?
Yeah, bring it. This is cool.
I love that you bring the small changes into that larger social context, and that begins to create ripples and go out.
Yeah.
I found that even in one of our books, we have Trust Yourself, we have something called the turtle method. And the turtle method is people say, oh, different day, same shit. And it's like, that's because they're unwilling to change. They haven't made a change. And with the turtle method, we start out by saying, just put your toothbrush in a different holder. Do
Yeah.
one thing. And as I noticed, as I did that in my life, started to change pillows or sides of the bed or whatever, my life started to open up because
Mhm,
we got rid of that should do it this way every day. Just like you're saying, it begins to
mhm,
the person slowly but very creatively so that they're more open to the freedom that they literally are. And that's people, in society is always going to control us because if we are the control, literally, what do we need them for? We don't need the experts. We don't need to refer to anybody. We've got the answers ourselves. So they're going to push back on that to keep us in the cage. That's what I've found. So it's
yeah.
like, how do we get out of the cage? Which brings us to one magic word. That's the key. That's the
And
key.
I'm also, and Mike, I'm also going to add on to that. We've chosen to stay in the cage. We're
Yeah.
choosing that.
Yeah.
And no matter what we say about, oh, I want to be out of the cage, yet by the mere fact that people are still choosing to remain unconscious when there are tools available to teach conscious awareness. So that alone, if one is willing to learn consciousness, then one has the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do everything in my power to not be part of the hive. Only
Mhm.
until that moment comes, you're part, not you. People are part of the hive. Before we talk about you, I just sent out a newsletter this past week. And the newsletter was all about, again, consciousness and awareness. But it was really an observation in our society. I had been inundated with emails about social media's decline and how we don't need followers anymore. And I was watching major publications all regurgitate the same story, the same person. And what happened was there was a young, very popular journalist who's on Substack who wrote an article saying social media is dead and the social media declines. And everyone, other journalists, not everyone, journalists jumped on that bandwagon and started to spread the news. So before long now, the hive is going to start to change over to, oh, we don't need social media anymore. We don't have to work so hard on social media. We're done. We're done. And it took one journalist with a large audience who then follows her, as we were talking before the show started, to then change the hive and take them down the next path. So are we sheep? Yeah. Are we in the collective? Yeah. Are we following? Yeah. What will it take to wake up? And you is a great way to start to access consciousness. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, right on, Ellie. Yeah. Yeah, how have let's see. You started hewing, as we said, October 1st, and you had some major epiphanies. I could list them because I often talk about you because your results were just so fabulous. So better than me talk. How about you can tell us, how it's been. Yeah.
Well, the results were really initially when I was paying attention, remember, because we can only pay attention to certain things. Well, that's blah, blah. The first experiences that are still in effect. Now, this has been over a month, close to 6 weeks now. You're right. The first thing that was so profound for me was the amount of sleep that I suddenly started having. I thought, okay, based in our society, the first question that we ask ourselves is, oh, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? And then I said, well, you're not going to ask that question, Ellie, because that's part of your fish tank. Okay. Like, what's wrong with me? That is a big no. There's nothing wrong with us. We are fine. I am not jumping into that awareness. So I was very aware of the question that I asked myself. And then I said, all right, let's take a look at this and see if this is something that's going to continue to happen. Now, did I program myself by this? I don't know. I started viewing in the morning religiously. It's part of my morning work when I do my work in the mornings. And then I would view in the afternoon. And then I would view before bed. And when I viewed right before bed, I would then pass out into this intensely deep sleep with dreams that I could remember. And I would sleep. It started with 10 hours, it went to 11 hours. And on average now, that it's been 6 weeks, I average about 7 to 8 hours of very deep sleep. And that is not waking up during the middle of the night for any particular reason. It is going to sleep at night and waking up the next morning and being refreshed. That's the other thing. So waking up refreshed in the morning after a deep sleep, obviously my body needed it. Only I do believe that it is in connection with the you. So as I started doing the research, we learned about how it affects the vagus nerve and all the other body parts, causing relaxation. So that's been phenomenal. And then I had an out of body experience, which was surreal. And I love those. I've only had one of those in the meantime, but it was great. So it was Ewing, and I was doing it for 12 minutes because I had read online that if you for 12 minutes, magic happens. I said, okay, fine. I'm going to you for 12 minutes. So I started Ewing. I timed it, started Ewing for 12 minutes. Suddenly, time disappeared, and I found myself as floating around. It was, I can't even begin to describe it. It was one of those, those out of body moments. I was floating around. I saw myself as an observer. I saw the future. It was just, this is really cool. And then I came back in and continued doing what I was doing. Yeah, there have been more. Okay. So not more out of body, only more stories. So health wise, things are great. Energy wise, things are great. Parking has been phenomenal. All right.
Yeah, right. You mentioned that. And
You got lucky. That's what I always say, but there's no such thing as one luck in the universe.
Right.
It's
I mean, 3 spaces on one day when I was viewing in Manhattan. It's very challenging to find parking, and I found parking right in front of the
yeah.
door
Yep.
3 times on that day. So that to me was mega magic.
I love it. Mega magic. Dig
When
that.
we lived in LA, and there are no parking spaces in LA, trust me, everything is valet or garages and stuff. And I mean, right down in Sunset Boulevard, there was a place that we used to eat almost every day, and we'd go down there. There's no parking, but there's a couple spaces, and I would hew on the way down there, and I'd pull up, and somebody would be pulling right out, and I'd get that space, and it was the vibration, literally shifting that vibration, opened that spot, and I would yell, "God, I'm lucky today," which was just my way of saying thank you, Hugh.
Thank you, Hubert. A couple things you mentioned. You mentioned this is one of my favorites. You said it's making me more psychic. You said it's making me more psychic. And you mentioned, well, yeah, talk about that for a minute. And then I'll mention 2 other things you said that were just outstanding.
Well, in terms of making me more psychic. So first of all, that's my job. So I do work in that realm. Only when it is now second nature for me, like, or first nature. I will think of someone, and it's no longer like, oh, wow, they called me. No, I will think of someone, then they call me. I will call someone at the same time that they're calling me. I will receive an email at the same moment that I'm thinking of it, or right after I'm thinking of it. I will be able to pick up things in readings that and I won't say frightened, that has the client tell me, are you in my head? And maybe, I don't know where this is coming. We're in the collective consciousness. Am I in your head? Yeah, I'm in your head. All right. So these are things that are happening for me also in terms of day-to-day telepathy, day-to-day working in the psychic realm.
Yeah, everything's just a vibration, as we've talked about, and you're just tapping into that at a finer level, higher, finer, finer, because it's always right there. We actually call it, vibration, reading vibrations, and that's like it's beyond intuition, and it's just picking up on vibes where you read it like you read a newspaper. It's just so yeah, enhancing your work certainly. To where and it becomes second nature. There's not an effort with it. It just is. Yeah. And then you taught your grandson the hue. And you
Yes.
found your daughter's phone. So tell us about that.
So I have 4 grandchildren. I was with 2 of them. One's 5 and the other's 3. And we were with their mother and they're my daughter-in-law, and we were out on a walk to find supplies for the fairy houses that we were going to build for the fairies. So we were already in tune with nature, working for look there are fairies and they're hiding in here in the little they're hidden in the forest here where we are, etc. And so we were focusing on that, and then my daughter-in-law somehow, some way lost her phone. And then we had gotten back to the car, all this yada yada stuff. She was in the space of going to find it. I took my grandson down to the waterfall and I said, "We are going to help mommy find the phone." And so we started to hew. And we just had the most incredible time hewing. And then he also said, "I'm going to make the water of the waterfall go." I don't know if I told you this part. "I'm going to make the water of the waterfall go faster." So I said, "Go for it. Let's do this." So he's hewing. And then was it our imagination? It really did appear, or the way that we looked at it, as if the waterfall started coming faster. So we were hewing. And now we went back home to the house. She had still not found her phone. I had called it 12 times. We were working with the app now, Find My Phone, and all of a sudden, and it hadn't been on the app. It still wasn't foundable. It said it was in one location. We went back, couldn't find it, blah, blah. So now we are at the house, and I said to my grandson, "Okay, this is it. This is our 13th phone call to find the phone, and we're going to set it up with hewing. We're going to hew first, and then we're going to use my magic mantra." So I have a magic mantra also that I use. So I combined the magic mantra with the hew. We started hewing, and then we started using the magic mantra. And then I let the phone ring, and somebody picked it up. And then she gave us the address, and my son went and got the phone. So the point of the whole story is, aside from the fact that we got the phone, the thing that I wanted to imprint on my grandson is, look, we hewed and we used a magic mantra, we ordained, and we connected and found the phone. This is how powerful we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It left an imprint for him.
Yeah, that's really excellent because you really taught him that there is real magic and that you are the real magic and you can use it. And that's all
Mhm.
you need to change things and to do what you want. And we are the source. And you let them know that. That's really, I think that's our message also, that we really want to take to the world, that we are literally, all the tools are within us. Within. It reminds me in the Bible somewhere when the Pharisees were talking to Jesus, they said, "So where is the kingdom of heaven?" They were trying to trip him up. And he said, "Kingdom of heaven is within you." In other words, you are the source. You're it. And they were, "What? In what? What did he say?" They had not a clue because of their consciousness. They couldn't handle it at the time. But there it is.
Yeah.
You taught real magic and you gave that message. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. And today, people still don't believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us.
They look out, they look up, they look down,
Well,
around.
really, then what does that say? Then it makes us totally responsible, right?
Yes.
And that's a tall order. Most people aren't ready for full responsibility in
Yeah.
every area. So it
Mhm.
leaves a little room for not being responsible,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I always share with my clients, like when there's a problem that they have and then it seems to go across, I say, "Well, what's the common denominator over here?" I say, "Look at the common denominator. Where's the common denominator?" Me. Yeah. Well, who are you being in all of these cases that is creating that is creating the chaos around you? You're there. You're the source. Not saying that you're the source of all the chaos. It's not, but you're a contributor. There's a common denominator.
Did you want to share your magic mantra, or do you feel that
Right. All right, so I'm gonna do a plug for my website. You
do
want the
it?
magic mantra, head over to ellymolina.com, get the magic mantra. So, there's a little secret to the magic mantra, though. Once you learn once you learn that it is more than just finding lost objects and getting parking spots, once you learn how to use the magic mantra, anything becomes available. So I put the magic mantra together with what I call the formula for miracles. And using the magic mantra with the formula for miracles, I've had clients generate $450,000 out of thin air, no joke. Okay, came as an opportunity to get a grant out of nowhere. It just appeared. I had a client remove $300,000 of debt through a glitch in a computer system where it vanished on the system and it was untraceable. And then she wanted to call the institution and say, hey, look, it's like, and I said, are you crazy? I mean, they don't have it. It's not there. It went away. Why would you want to bring that back when we've just finished using the magic mantra and the formula for miracles? You want to bring that back? I don't think so. So these are like, I mean, there's so many miraculous stories that happen for people. And then combine that with you, and the sky is really beyond. The sky is the limit. There is no limit. There's no limit. Let's cancel that. And then another one of my favorite stories is the client who got a green card without an interview. So anybody who knows what that looks like to get a green card without an interview, you need an interview. And even those interviews, people fear them. And in this case, the green card arrived without the interview. And her response was, well, do I go tell them? And I said, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you. But you got your green card. They can't take it back. And so it was, again, using the magic mantra, setting the intention, using the formula for miracles. At that time, I didn't know about HUing. And the green card arrived in the mail as a fluke. Again, these things, flukes happen all the time. It's simply www.ellymolina.com. So
Right.
thank you for that. Yeah, everything is on there. And remember, I just want to share a little.
Yeah.
Our path will always follow our vision. It's not the other way. So we create the vision and then our path will follow.
Nice.
Yep. I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Wisdom from Elly. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for
Elly.
joining us. All right. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me here today. So make magic. All right. Thank you.